Hello, everyone! In this extended deep dive documentary, we unravel the long swirling whispers, misunderstandings, and deeply rooted speculation surrounding Bishop J. Drew Sheard and the legendary, complicated, misunderstood figure of Bishop Hogan Catches, a man whose presence in the Church of God in Christ left an imprint so strong that years after his passing, his name still echoes through convocations, whispered in hotel lobbies, repeated during late-night clergy conversations, and typed in thousands of online comments questioning what really happened behind the scenes of church leadership. And as we open this investigation, we acknowledge how rare it is for high-ranking clergy to address rumors directly, which is exactly why Bishop J. Drew's recent candid remarks sent shockwaves through the entire Pentecostal world, going viral as soon as clips hit social media, triggering old debates and forcing newer generations to confront stories they had only heard in fragments. And as he stepped onto that stage, calm but visibly reflective, he began breaking down years of speculation about his relationship with Bishop Hogan Catches, a man once respected as fiercely as he was feared, known for a booming voice, uncompromising sermons, and a reputation for confronting leaders when he believed the church was drifting away from its holiness roots. And for years, people claimed that tension had built between the two bishops, creating rumors that J. Drew had sidelined Hogan, that private disagreements spilled into public decisions, and that spiritual politics, not divine appointment, shaped jurisdictional outcomes. And in his address, Bishop J. Drew started by acknowledging the elephant in the room, that the public had rewritten entire narratives based on glimpses, assumptions, and half-truths. And without raising his voice, he dismantled the idea that Hogan Catches had been his adversary, saying that while the two men absolutely clashed on issues ranging from youth ministry direction to administrative modernization, to how aggressively the church should embrace media, technology, and contemporary culture, those clashes never crossed into hatred, sabotage, or spiritual warfare, instead being the type of passionate disagreements that naturally arise when two strong-willed leaders believe deeply in the future of their denomination. And he explained that Bishop Hogan Catches was from a generation shaped by strict order, handwritten ledgers, pastoral intimacy, and a belief that holiness had to remain untouched by the influence of modern trends, whereas Bishop J. Drew represented the generation forced to bridge the old and new worlds, balancing online ministry, televised services, community activism, and the practical realities of keeping a historic denomination relevant in the 21st century. And it was in this generational clash that rumors bloomed, fueled by members who interpreted every disagreement as division and every tense meeting as a declaration of war, especially when elections rolled around and certain names rose and fell in popularity. And when Bishop J. Drew took leadership as presiding bishop, some immediately blamed him for Hogan's disappointment, painting him as the man who outmaneuvered or overlooked Bishop Catches. And so the rumor lived, repeated endlessly until it became a myth in its own right. But in his speech, Bishop J. Drew revealed the truth that almost no one expected, stating that one of the last conversations he shared with Bishop Hogan Catches was not hostile, bitter, or resentful, but deeply emotional, incredibly honest, and, most surprising of all, filled with mutual respect. And he shared how Hogan Catches, despite his fierce persona, privately expressed moments of vulnerability, frustration with aging, fear of becoming irrelevant, and sorrow over being misunderstood by newer leaders. And Bishop J. Drew said that he now understands that many of Hogan's sharpest comments came from a place of wanting to protect the church he loved, even if his delivery was often rough, intense, and at times difficult to handle. And as the audience listened, it became clear that there had been no secret betrayal, no hidden scandal, and no power struggle hidden behind closed doors, but rather two men navigating the heavy responsibility of leadership in a denomination with millions of followers. And Bishop J. Drew admitted that if he has any regrets, it is not making more intentional space for reconciliation during the years when Because when leaders become consumed by schedules, board meetings, national agendas, and jurisdictional issues, personal connection often fades into the background. And he emphasized that silence is sometimes mistaken for animosity, and distance can be misinterpreted as disdain, which is exactly how many of the rumors emerged in the first place. And then he addressed the long-standing claim that Hogan felt minimized before his passing, clarifying that while Hogan had strong concerns about various issues, he never expressed hatred or resentment toward J. Drew, nor did he accuse the leadership of pushing him aside, and Bishop J. Drew insisted that Hogan's dedication remained intact until the very end, and that within their final discussion, there was genuine peace. Not agreement, not perfect unity, but peace. Something the public never knew because neither man felt the need to broadcast their private conversations for validation, and when he said this, the crowd fell into absolute stillness. The type of silence only found in moments when decades of confusion begin to unravel, and the heaviness in the room became even more intense when Bishop J. Drew explained that sometimes church members create conflict where none exists simply because they thrive on drama, and rumors are easier to digest than the complicated truth of human relationships among leaders carrying extraordinary pressure. And as the video circulated online, reactions varied wildly. Older saints expressed relief, saying they always believed the story had been exaggerated. Younger members were stunned, having only known the amplified online version of events, and others felt emotional hearing that behind every rumor was a human story full of imperfections, misunderstandings, and unspoken respect. And in the documentary portion of this video, we analyze how church culture often mythologizes leaders into heroes or villains, placing them on pedestals that ignore their humanity, and how these myths shape elections, appointments, and public perception, creating ripple effects that last generations, and viewers will see how Bishop Hogan Catches, despite his stern exterior, was a man shaped by decades of sacrifice, sleepless nights, pastoral burdens, and a desire to protect what he believed God entrusted to him, while Bishop J. Drew, stepping into one of the most scrutinized roles in modern Pentecostalism, is learning that transparency is sometimes the only remedy for rumors that refuse to die. And as we conclude this documentary, we emphasize that the greatest revelation from Bishop J. Drew's speech is not scandal or secrecy, but the simple truth that leadership is complicated. Relationships are layered, and sometimes the real story is not one of conflict, but of two strong men of God doing their best under extraordinary pressure, ultimately leaving us with a deeper understanding of legacy, perception, reconciliation, and why the truth often arrives years after the rumor has already taken root. And in this moment, with Bishop J. Drew finally addressing the story directly, an entire chapter of church folklore begins to close, offering closure, clarity, and a reminder that some rumors survive not because they are true, but because they were never corrected. Until now. Thanks for watching.